What's going on, guys? It's Ben here and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be talking through the last week or so in the Premier League instead of just focusing on Aston Villa, because I've decided that in weeks like this where not a fat lot's happened, there's no transfer window, there's only one game a week, it's hard to make an entire video on the game without being in the stadium, having clips and things like that, because normally I only talk for 3 to 4 minutes, and I want this to be sort of a 10-minute-ish video. So we're going to be talking on the entirety of the Premier League, talking about the big controversial decisions, the big exciting games, and also my predictions for the potential next week, and also a potential game if there's one happening later. So currently, I'm recording this at Monday 7:30, which means it is 30 minutes until Wolverhampton Wanderers and Leeds United kick off, and the game between West Brom and Burnley has just finished. That one ended in a 0-0 draw. Neither side really deserved to win it, to be honest. I thought West Brom maybe should have edged it, but if they were more clinical, they could have been. I think Burnley might have hit the bar at some point that Chris Wood should have scored, but aside from that, dull 0-0, and the first 0-0 of the season, thanks to a Ross Barkley heroics last night. And again, another one of those games where I think we went toe-to-toe with a top side in Leicester. I thought, in terms of chances, we probably had the better. I think Grealish had a couple of brilliant opportunities where he took it round 3 or 4 and made some space for himself. If he had the confidence in his shot more, we could have won. But we could have won the game earlier on, because obviously 92nd minute, Ross Barkley slashes home from 25 yards. But yeah, I think if any side deserved to win the game, it's probably going to be us, to be honest. Although it was a very, very, very even game. So that's based more on just clear-cut chances, really. They had a couple of pop shots. I think Kelechi and Acho had one in the first half. So, all in all, I think top performance again. And this is something that we've not seen from Aston Villa enough over the recent years, as we'll have a big performance, right? There won't be, for a very long time, a performance quite as good as putting 7 past the Premier League champions. But we constantly have these games where we'll play out of our skin, we'll have a terrific performance, we'll beat a team conclusively, comprehensively, a game that we deserve to win, and then we'll be lacklustre the week after, and we'll be slow and we'll be sloppy. And I think there were bits of that game creeping in, definitely, against Leicester, but all in all, we held ourselves together a lot more. We were a lot more defensively solid when we were put under pressure. And in the end, if you stay in the game until the last minutes of the game and the game's tied, who knows? There always is going to be one chance in it. And as it happened, that chance fell to Ross Barkley and he converted. So we stayed in the game until the 90th minute. I thought, as I say, very 50-50 even game. And at the end of the day, we took one more chance than they did. And we won the game because of it. Now, there was also the Merseyside derby previously to that. And that had a few controversial decisions. So Liverpool took the lead in the 3rd minute through Sadio Mane, in which then Virgil van Dijk in the 9th minute had to be substituted due to a knee injury, I think. Don't quote me on that though, it might have been Achilles. And originally the decision looked to be a penalty kick. It wasn't officially given as a penalty kick, but the challenge from Jordan Pickford on Virgil van Dijk, there are no questions about it, is a penalty kick and possibly a red card to Jordan Pickford. Now, in that sense that Pickford has lunged in and injured a player for, as it looks like at the moment, 7 or 8 months and got away with it, doesn't seem fair from VAR. And as much as I despise Liverpool as a club, they've been very hard done by there, because the decision wasn't given due to offside in the build-up. So what they've basically said is, alright, Van Dijk's been injured and there was possible penalty. We can't give the penalty, which means we can't give the foul, which means we can't then send Jordan Pickford off because it was offside. Looking at it, it's a very, very tight offside. Now, the one thing you can't argue really about with VAR is the offsides, because no matter how tight they are, theoretically they have every offside decision right, although we'll talk about that one and in the dying embers of this game. So Virgil van Dijk had to go off injured, and Jordan Pickford got away scot-free because of the fact that it was offside in the build-up. So what VAR are basically saying is, if a player is offside, you can lunge in and break someone's knees and not get sent off, which is absolutely wrong. Now, as I understand, Liverpool have asked the FA if they can make an emergency transfer signing. If you remember, Barcelona did it last year when they brought in Martin Braithwaite due to injuries. Because of how unfair they feel they've been treated by the FA in this Virgil van Dijk case. Now, in my opinion, I don't think Liverpool need this. I think if you look at their squad, they have Fabinho, Joe Gomez, John Matip, who all can play in that centre-back spot. One more injury, I'd maybe consider it for the FA, but for me, their defence is already very, very good without Virgil van Dijk. I know Virgil van Dijk will be a big miss because he is currently the best defender in the league. But, that being said, something has to be done about it because Jordan Pickford cannot get away with that. So anyway, the game continued on, and there was an equaliser found by Everton, and then Liverpool regained their advantage, I think, through a Mo Salah effort in the 77th minute, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin leapt like a salmon into the air and converted in the 84th to tie the game at 2-2. And in the 90th minute, there was another big decision made by the referee to send Richarlison off. Straight red card for a lunged-in tackle onto Thiago in midfield, onto Thiago Alcantara. Now, straight red card, no real arguments about that for me. But the interesting thing about that some people did not notice is the French left-back Luca Digne reached into the referee's pocket while he was talking and tried to hide the official's red cards. I'll see if I can find a photo of it at some point. I don't know whether it'll be in this video because I'm going to be making this in a bit of a rush because I want it out before 8. So this doesn't sound outdated if it's coming out midway through the Wolverhampton-Leeds-Leicester game. But, yeah, he actually reaches into the referee's pocket and tries to hide his red card so Richarlison doesn't get sent off, which is very, very funny, but a little bit naughty from Luca Digne. But I just thought I'd mention that because it's funny. And then in the 92nd minute of the game, Jordan Henderson got on the end of a Sadio Mane ball in and converted into the bottom corner. But VAR deemed there was an offside in the build-up, which is the tightest VAR decision we've had yet. Now, once again, as I said earlier, you can't really argue with the fact that, alright, offside is offside because of the fact that computers drawing the lines. Where you can argue with VAR is the man-made decisions, such as, is this a red card, is this a penalty kick? Because the computer can't decide that. But theoretically, every offside call is right. So I agree with the decision to disallow Jordan Henderson's goal, as cruel as it may be on the Liverpool fans. And as much as I moan about VAR, it's happened to every club at some point this season. I remember it happened on the first, in the January the 1st, 2020 for Aston Villa. We were 1-0 up against Burnley, and Wesley Moraes, our big Brazilian striker, deemed about 2 centimetres offside as his back heel was just offside before he found Jack Grealish in the middle for him to convert. So it's happened to everyone. That's the idea I think of Villa. So there was another also big game that happened on the Sunday before the Villa game, which was Tottenham versus West Ham. Now, Tottenham have been in flying form recently, scoring goals left, right and centre. Heung-min Son and Harry Kane have converted, including goals in this game, have combined 28 goals, combined 28 times to find goals, which currently put them the 4th highest combining Premier League attack in terms of goals contributed to each other, behind the likes of Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp and those sort of players. So I think you can see that they've entered the elites almost. And they grabbed 3 more goal contributions between the two of them, as in the first minutes of the game, inside 45 seconds, Harry Kane's long ball was latched onto by Heung-min Son, who then coolly converted onto West Ham keeper Lucas Fabianski. And then in the 8th minute, Harry Kane struck in Harry Kane fashion, finding himself in a bit of space at the back post and nodding past Lucas Fabianski, assisted by the Korean Heung-min Son. And in the 16th minute, it was a carbon copy as Heung-min Son picked out Kane at the back post, who this time had an open net to tap into. And that looked to be the game. West Ham, they had a few chances in the game. Mikel Antonio had a glorious chance, as did Pablo Fornals, but he headed over from 2 yards. Harry Kane then hit the post thanks to another assist from Heung-min Son, although this one was a yard or so away from target. And so that led to a grandstand finale, as Balbuena, I want to say, nodded home from an Aaron Cresswell free kick to give a consolation and nothing more for West Ham United, until it wasn't, because a ball into the middle was expertly turned into his own net by Davinson Sanchez, glancing it past Hugo Lloris at the front post, giving the keeper no chance. And then in the 94th minute of the game, as just 2 minutes prior, Gareth Bale had missed a wonderful chance to open his Tottenham account for this season. He missed a glorious chance. West Ham went up the other end, and Lanzini absolutely thunderbolted it into the top corner. Absolute worldie of a strike to nick a point for the Hammers late on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which led to some very, very fun fan reactions on social medias, with Tottenham fans asking for David Moyes to stay at home and things like that, and West Ham fans doing the same. So very, very funny in that scenario, but what a wonderful goal it was from Lanzini. And aside from that, a couple more interesting games. Manchester City held on to beat Arsenal by 1-0. Manchester United put 4 past Newcastle, although they left it late to do so, winning that game by 4-1, as Luke Shaw's own goal in the second minute gave them a little bit of thinking to do, but in the end they dealt with it pretty darn well. And as I say, West Brom drew 0-0 to Burnley today. Sheffield United and Fulham were held even at a 1-1 draw, as Alexander Mitrovic both gave away a penalty and missed a penalty for Fulham, ending that one in a 1-1 draw with a wonderful goal, a wonderful solo goal from Lookman for Fulham, as he flicked it through a defender's legs and then coolly put it into the top corner when 1-on-1 with the Sheffield United keeper Aaron Ramsdale. Billy Sharp converted the penalty that Alexander Mitrovic gave away after he fouled a man on the corner. So yeah, that's going to be it for sort of the Premier League roundup this week. I'm sure I'm missing one of the big games. Let me have a quick think. I don't remember this weekend all too well, if I'm being honest. There were probably some crazy games. Chelsea drew 3-3 with Southampton. Timo Werner opened his Premier League account for Chelsea, as he got a double before a late goal from Yannick Vestergaard split the points between the London side and Southampton, ending in another exciting 3-3 draw. A lot of those so far this season, as obviously Tottenham and West Ham, Chelsea and West Brom, Chelsea and Southampton. So plenty of really interesting draws. As we go into next week's games now, if I did miss a game, let me know, and if you really want to know, I'll give you a little talk about what happened. So looking on to next week, Aston Villa against Leeds on Friday night. A little bit worried about this game, not going to lie, because Leeds are a side who are high-flying at the moment. Marcelo Bielsa's side, they're picking up unlikely points. You know, for a newly promoted side to host Manchester City and come away with a point is an unlikely scenario, although equally for a side who stayed up by 1 point to put 7 past Liverpool is definitely an unlikely result. So it'll be an interesting one to have a look at how that one happens on Friday at 8 o'clock. And then over the weekend there'll be a few more interesting games as well that I'm sure we'll talk about. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Let's see if we can get to 10 likes on this video. I think at the moment I'm on about 367 subscribers, I want to say. Maybe 57, not sure. But let's start pushing towards that 400 soon, because as soon as 400 comes, we can start looking towards 500, which would be 1,500. Still can't believe the support's been crazy on this channel, honestly. To think that I have a video that's over about 5,000 views or so, I can't fully remember. It's just incredible. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. As I say, like, subscribe, and hopefully I will see you next Monday for another Premier League roundup. Peace.